Chapter 1. The Invitation. Clara Martins, a journalism student, had always been fascinated by the supernatural. When her anthropology professor mentioned the Willowbrook Sanitarium, an abandoned site near the Serra de Mantiqueira, she couldn't resist. The place was infamous for secret experiments in the 1950s, where patients were subjected to lobotomies and electroshock therapy without consent. Many died under mysterious circumstances, and the few surviving records spoke of nightly manifestations. Clara convinced two friends, Diego and Luisa, to join her in documenting the site. The official reason was an academic article, but deep down, she wanted to prove that the reports of voices and shadows were more than just urban legends. Chapter 2. The First Night. The sanatorium was a decaying structure with peeling walls and shattered windows. The musty smell was suffocating. While setting up cameras in the main hall, Luisa found a diary hidden beneath a loose floorboard. The pages, written by a nurse in 1962, described disturbing routines. April 3rd, Dr. Viano insisted on treating case 12. The patient screamed for hours. At night, I hear footsteps in the corridor, but when I check, no one is there. They say it's Eduardo, the first to die in the shock room. As they read, a cold draft extinguished their lanterns. Diego chuckled nervously, blaming a short circuit, until a moan echoed from the second floor. Clara assured them it was just the wind, but her hands trembled. Chapter 3. The Awakening. At midnight, the motion sensors began beeping. On the screens, shadows moved through the hallways, dragging something heavy. Luisa, pragmatic, suggested animals. Then came the knocking, 3 taps, a pause, then 2 more. The pattern repeated, growing louder each time. Bravely, Diego opened the door. Nothing outside, but as they shut it, a tall, gaunt figure in tattered hospital garments appeared in the broken mirror behind them. When they turned around, there was no one there. Chapter 4. Eduardo's Story. Through the torn diary pages, they learned that Eduardo was a young man institutionalized for hysteria in 1955. After 30 electroshock sessions, his heart gave out. It was said his soul remained trapped in the sanatorium, seeking revenge against the staff. In 1963, a nurse was found dead in the shock room with unexplained burn marks on her temples. Clara started doubting the investigation. The air felt heavy, and she sensed something watching her. Diego, now pale, confessed, "I heard someone whisper my name in my own voice." Chapter 5. The Final Recording. In the early hours, the cameras captured a shadow dragging chains down the hallway. The temperature plummeted. Luisa, panicked, screamed, "We need to leave now." But the door was locked. On the live feed, they saw the figure approaching. A disfigured man with burn marks on his face and completely white eyes. It was Eduardo. He raised a skeletal hand, pointing at Clara. The lights went out. Screams. Epilogue, the rescue. The police found the 3 unconscious in the shock room the next morning. Diego and Luisa remembered nothing. Clara, however, had fragmented recordings, moans, footsteps, and a raspy voice whispering, "You will replace the nurse." The sanatorium was demolished in 1980, but locals swear that on stormy nights, flickering lights can be seen in the ruins, accompanied by the sound of dragging chains. Clara was never the same. She insists that Eduardo visits her in dreams, showing her the sanatorium in flames and whispering, "There's still room for you here." Note: Willowbrook Sanatorium is inspired by real institutions like Penhurst Asylum and the Barbacena Psychiatric Hospital, where patients suffered horrific abuse. Reports of paranormal activity persist to this day, fueled by unresolved tragedies.